Well, not all traveling companions are the same. I mean, Christian right here, he loses faithful, but now he gets hopeful. But also, they've got buy-ins. He comes in the story today, and buy-ins is a follower that only looks for convenience. As long as it's good, as long as it's easy, he's all in. But man, when it gets tough, he's out. So let's think about this today as we're reading the Pilgrim's Progress. What kind of a follower are you? And I'll see you on the other side of the reading today.
Welcome to the Pilgrim's Progress in Modern English Daily Devotional. Join your host, David Yarbrough, and go with him through John Bunyan's timeless masterpiece, one devotional step at a time. Strengthen your faith, discover profound truths, and take another step closer to the celestial city. Let's get started.
7. And now I saw in my dream that Christian did not continue his journey alone because someone named Hopeful, who had been inspired by observing Christian and Faithful's words and behavior, as well as their suffering at the fair, joined him. Entering into a brotherly covenant, Hopeful told Christian he would be his companion. Thus, one died to bear witness to the truth, and another rose from his ashes to walk with Christian on his pilgrimage. Hopeful also told Christian that there were many others at the fair who would eventually follow after them in their own time. Then I saw that soon after they left the fair, they caught up with someone traveling ahead of them. His name was Buy-ins. They said to him, "What country are you from, sir? And how far are you going on this path?" He told them he came from the town of Fair Speech and was headed to the celestial city, but did not reveal his name. "From Fair Speech?" asked Christian. "Is there any good that comes from there?" Proverbs chapter 26, verse 25. "Yes," said Buy-ins. "I hope so." "May I ask your name, sir?" said Christian. Buy-ins replied, "I am a stranger to you, and you are a stranger to me. If you are going in this direction, I'd be glad for your company. If not, I will be content." "This town of Fair Speech," said Christian, "I've heard of it. If I remember correctly, people say it's a wealthy place." "Yes, I can assure you it is," said Buy-ins, "and I have many rich relatives there." "May I ask who your relatives are, if that's not too bold?" said Christian. "Almost the entire town," Buy-ins replied. "In particular, my Lord Turnabout, my Lord Time Server, and my Lord Fair Speech, whose ancestors founded the town. Also, Mr. Smoothman, Mr. Facing Both Ways, and Mr. Anything. The parson of our parish, Mr. Two Tongues, is my mother's brother on my father's side. To be honest, I've become a gentleman of good standing, though my great-grandfather was just a waterman who looked one way while rowing another. I earned most of my wealth through the same trade." "Are you a married man?" asked Christian. "Yes," Buy-ins replied, "and my wife is a very virtuous woman, the daughter of another virtuous woman. She is the daughter of Lady Fining, so she comes from an honorable family. She has been raised to such a level of refinement that she knows how to interact with everyone, from princes to peasants. It's true that we differ from the stricter sort of religious people in two small ways. First, we never go against the wind or tide. Second, we are most zealous about religion when it is popular, such as when it walks in silver slippers. We love to follow religion in public when the sun shines and people cheer for it." Then Christian stepped a little to the side to speak to his companion Hopeful, saying, "I have a feeling that this is one Buy-ins from Fair Speech. If it is him, we have one of the most dishonest men in our company from this entire region." Hopeful replied, "Ask him. I think he shouldn't be ashamed of his name." So Christian approached Buy-ins again and said, "Sir, you speak as though you know more than most people, and if I am not mistaken, I believe I know who you are. Isn't your name Mr. Buy-ins of Fair Speech?" Buy-ins answered, "That is not my name. It is a nickname given to me by people who dislike me, and I must bear it as an insult, just as other good men have borne such things before me. Christian asked. But have you ever given people a reason to call you by this name? Bai-Ens replied, Never, never. The worst I have ever done to deserve this name is that I have always had the fortune to agree with the prevailing opinions of the times, whatever they might be, and I happen to benefit from it. But if that's the reason this name has been given to me, I'll consider it a blessing. Let the malicious not accuse me unfairly because of it. Christian responded, I thought you might be the man I've heard about. And to be honest, I fear this name fits you better than you are willing to admit. Bai-Ens said, Well, if you choose to think that, I cannot stop you. You will find me to be a pleasant traveling companion if you will still accept me as your associate. Christian replied, If you want to travel with us, you must be willing to go against the wind and tide, which, as I see it, is not your usual way. You must also follow religion when he is dressed in rags, as well as when he wears silver slippers, and stand with him when he is bound in chains, just as you would when he is celebrated in the streets. Bai-Ens answered, You must not force your way on my beliefs. Leave me to my liberty, and let me travel with you. Christian replied, Not one step further unless you agree to follow what we practice. Bai-Ens then said, I will never abandon my old principles since they are both harmless and profitable. If I cannot go with you, I will continue as I was before, traveling alone until I meet others who will gladly accept my company. Now I saw in my dream that Christian and Hopeful left him behind and kept their distance ahead of him. But one of them, looking back, saw 3 men following Bai-Ens. When they caught up to him, Bai-Ens gave them a low bow, and they returned the gesture. The names of the men were Mr. Hold the World, Mr. Moneylove, and Mr. Save All. Bai-Ens had known these men before. They had been schoolmates in their youth, taught by a teacher named Mr. Greitman in the town of Lovegan, a marketplace in the county of Coveting, located in the north. This teacher had taught them the art of gaining wealth, and whether by force, deceit, flattery, lying, or pretending to be religious. These 4 gentlemen had mastered their teacher's lessons so well that they could have started their own school. After greeting each other, Mr. Moneylove said to Bai-Ens, Who are the men traveling ahead of us? For Christian and Hopeful were still visible. Bai-Ens answered, They are 2 travelers from a distant land who, according to their way, are on a pilgrimage. Moneylove said, What a shame they didn't wait, so we could enjoy their company. Surely they, you, and we are all traveling for the same purpose. Bai-Ens replied, Indeed we are. But the men ahead are so rigid, so in love with their own ideas, and so dismissive of the opinions of others, that no matter how godly a person is, if he doesn't agree with them in every detail, they completely exclude him from their company. Save All said, That is unfortunate, but we read of some who are overly righteous, and such rigidity leads them to judge and condemn everyone but themselves. May I ask, what were the things in which you disagreed? Bai-Ens. Well, they, in their stubborn way, believe it is their duty to continue their journey no matter the weather, while I prefer to wait for favorable winds and tides. They are willing to risk everything for God all at once, but I prefer to take advantage of opportunities that ensure my safety and preserve my possessions. They hold on to their beliefs even if everyone else disagrees with them, but I follow religion only as far as the times and my safety allow. They are committed to religion when it's in rags and looked down upon, but I prefer religion when it walks in silver slippers, in the sunshine, and with the applause of others. Well, like we said in the beginning, not all traveling companions are the same. What a great guy Hopeful is. Man, great guy to be right there with Christian. But then there's Bai-Ens. And Bai-Ens is all about right here and right now. By-ins is not interested in sacrificing for the kingdom, where Christian and hopeful are all about that. For I'm crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God. If I'm going to follow after Christ, I've been willing to deny myself, take up my cross daily, and follow after Him. See, these are not things that for people like Buy-in that they're interested in. They're interested in living their best life now. What am I going to get out of this? I mean, like, I'm interested in the kingdom of God as long as it blesses me right here and right now. And that is not what the Christian life is all about. John Bunyan is doing an excellent job of helping us understand that following that road to the celestial city, there's going to be the slough of despond. There's going to be the valley of the shadow of death. We're going to battle major opponents like a polygon. I mean, we're going to have times that it's really, really difficult, like Vanity Fair, where our friends, we lose friends along the way. That's the truth about the path to the celestial city. Oh, it is a hard path, but it is the best path. So today, dear friend, as you seek first the kingdom of God, as you go to live out your kingdom purpose in your generation, remember, it is a hard path, but it is the best.